Alright, this video is going to be a nicotine review, and I know that sounds odd because I've stated many times that I don't typically use nicotine. In general, I don't. Sometimes I do, but I'll get into that later. But the reason I don't use nicotine is, number one, I hate the flavor of it. Most nicotines I've tried taste pungent, rancid, like spoiled, or peppery, like a very strong pepper. And I prefer, I guess, the peppery over like it honestly tastes like puke to me. But neither one are very pleasant to me, and considering I started vaping, having already quit smoking, I really didn't need the nicotine. But for the sake of testing out certain things, because I mix juice for my dad now, I find it important to test it myself, just to see, I don't know, to me, just like cooking, like I wouldn't give anybody something that I haven't tried myself or would be willing to eat myself. So I test out the stuff. Plus there's like a lot of juices that I'll get with my dad or my grandmother in mind, but I want to taste them out just to see if I like the juice. And yeah, so that's why I've tried nicotine. And currently I've been doing very low, like we're talking like 1 milligram strength in a tank, so it's very, very minimal, and just to see what it was like. And I do find it calming, almost. Like it seems to mellow me out a little bit, because I'm very anxious and at some points aggressive or bitchy, I guess, for lack of a better word, and it seems to kind of like mellow me out a little bit. So I don't know, it has like multiple purposes, but so far I actually like this nicotine, which is crazy, because for the most part I hate nicotine. Like the only ones that have been tolerable to me have been Alien Visions. Mind you, it's like a completed juice, it's not just like a brand of nicotine, but whatever they use is good. I do find that it has a very strong throat hit, at least the ones I tried, but I think they were pretty strong anyway. They were like 18 or 24 milligrams, which is pretty high, so it could just be that. But they were pretty strong on the throat hit, but the taste wasn't really altered. And Flavors by Joe was another one. It was a menthol. I don't know if that changes things, but it was a mentholated tobacco that I haven't been able to find anywhere as far as like repurchasing it, because it was a swap type thing. But that nicotine was very, very smooth, and that was 18 milligrams, which I thought was crazy. Typically I can't even vape it. Like I'll vape it once and I just can't do it. But anyway, so those are the only nicotines I've liked. The only other nicotine as far as DIY that I've tried was Wizard Labs, and I didn't like it. It was very harsh to me, very peppery, and I just didn't personally like it. Now the nicotines that, or the juices that I've let my dad and grandmother try with the Wizard Labs nicotine, they didn't complain about it, but they're not very discerning as far as like what they vape. They either like the flavor or they don't. I don't know that they can like tell the difference between what's coming from the nicotine and what's coming from the flavor itself, so they're not really a good judge on that whole thing, so I kind of just have to go by my experience. Anyway, I decided to try Vapers Tek, which is the nicotine that I'm going to be talking about. I'm sorry it took so long for me to get to that, but as you could probably see from the title, you probably already knew that anyway. I got a sample size from Bull City Vapor. I'll put the link below. They have sample sizes, which I think is an excellent idea that more vendors, whoever, should do, because it gives you an idea of whether or not you want to make a larger purchase. Because like the Wizard Labs, it was like I think it was a 60 ml little bottle thing, and of course I knew I didn't like it right away, so I felt like it was kind of a waste. Even though I ended up using it, it was still, I would have preferred something smaller. This one is 15 milliliters, and it is the strongest strength. I don't know, I think, yeah, Bull City Vapors, I think they have smaller sample sizes, but I just got the 100 milligram. I don't know why why. I don't know if it was the only thing in stock, but I just got that one. It comes in, like I said, the 15 ml bottle as a sample. It's $4.49. I think the weaker strengths, the lower strengths, are cheaper, but you have to think of it this way. This is more concentrated, so you're going to get more out of this opposed to something of a lesser strength. But in the same respect, if you are new to mixing or handling nicotine, you definitely should get the weaker versions because it's very dangerous. Sorry, my cat was doing her scratching shit. Anyway, so I don't even remember what I was talking about. Oh, if you're, like I said, new to mixing or handling nicotine, you should definitely get the weaker strengths because it's very dangerous. As you can see, I'm wearing gloves. These I got from Wizard Labs. They used to give them away with their, your purchase. As far as I know, they don't do that anymore. I don't know why they stopped. Maybe it was a cost factor. Not really sure. But I still have these from then, and I have extra ones from when I used to dye my hair. You can get a big box of those at Sally's Beauty Supply, like 100 for I think it's $8. So I would highly recommend wearing gloves if you're going to be handling such a strong strength of nicotine, because if you get it in your skin, it's poisonous. If you accidentally ingest it or get in your eyes, it's very, very dangerous, and it's not something you want to mess with. So wear gloves. A lot of people recommend eyewear as well, like those little safety plastic goggle things. Just be prepared and do research. Don't just watch my video or somebody else's video and then start mixing. Go on the eStig forum or Vaping Underground, any kind of those things. Even I think Reddit is a good source of information. It's just kind of hard to navigate. Just Google search, DIY ELIQUID, and do your research on nicotine if you're using it. I just started using nicotine, but by the time I started messing with it, I already read so much information that it wasn't really a thing for me. But if you're new, just be very careful, and like I said, I recommend the weaker strengths because you're still going to be able to most likely get the result that you're looking for. Like if you're looking for 8 milligrams, you'll just have to dilute it less, so you'll be using more of the nicotine than you would 100 milligram strength. Like with this, the thing that I like about it is it takes a very small amount to get the desired milligram strength for my dad, because he's actually down to 8 milligrams right now, and it's very easy to measure because it's such a small amount. I actually do it in drops. If you want to know how to do that, it's basically I took a bottle that's exactly like this with a drip nozzle thing exactly like that. Like I have so many bottles that I had one just around, and I put vegetable glycerin in here, 1 milligram of, or 1 milliliter of it in here, and then measured how many drops came out, and that's how you get your drops per milliliter. And considering it's a relatively low strength that I'm aiming for, if it's slightly off, it's not that big of a deal. But I just find that easier for me, especially considering it's dangerous. I don't really want to be using syringes and stuff like that because that can kind of get messy, and I just find this easier and safer. What I will end up doing eventually is diluting some of this to a weaker milligram to mix with, because it'll be safer and easier. I just haven't got around to it yet. But anyway, Bull City Vapor, $4.50 for 15 mils, and right now they are in stock. When I was looking to reorder, they were out. So I had to go directly to the Vapers Tek website. Now make sure that you're going to the correct website, because if you Google search Vapers Tek, it'll come up to a completely different website. I think even Vapers Tek comes to a completely different website, and both have caused problems with my browser. The first one, it wouldn't even open because Firefox detected suspicious things, and I don't know, it told me it was a harmful website, so I didn't open it. And then the second one actually crashed my Firefox. So just make sure you're going to this website here if you choose to go directly to them. And they're really a good price for what you get, because like even Wizard Labs, and you have to account for shipping as well, because depending on how much you get, it's going to be kind of expensive, or more expensive than you would think, to ship this stuff. Like for this 120 milliliter bottle, the total with shipping was $16. Now, it was like more than half of it, or not more than half, I don't know, $6 of it was shipping basically. So kind of a lot, but I got it really quickly. I got it within like 2 or 3 days of process or submitting the order, and no problems as far as like, you know, leaking or anything like that. It came in plastic wrap that was sealed. I just took it out for the video because I already did this video a couple times, and the ruffling and the plastic was really annoying to listen to, so I figured I would save you from that. But this is the 120 milliliter bottle. Now, one thing I will say, I got the vegetable glycerin version. You can get it either in VG, PG, or what they call a mixed blend, at least as far as the direct site that I showed you the business card of. On Bull City Vapor, I think you can only get the VG kind, but the vegetable glycerin is the one that I prefer anyway, just because I vape high VG, and I don't know, I just like it better as a carrier. So that's what I got in the bigger size as well. And one person did message me on Vaping Underground, which is a new forum that I've been going into. It's kind of like ECF, but a little bit more relaxed as far as like moderation and all that. Like you can swear and all that shit. But I don't know, it's just more friendly as far as like chatting. But both are good sites for information. But anyway, someone messaged me about this nicotine, and they said that it oxidized on them like really quickly. And when I got this, it was really perfectly clear, like a regular vegetable glycerin is. Like, I guess I'll show you, which I'll be doing a review on this stuff too. I just want to make sure I like it and all that. But this is supposedly USP grade glycerin, which is pharmaceutical grade, which is a step above food grade, which is like, I think it's the best grade of glycerin you can get, the cleanest, all that shit. But anyway, you should be able to tell that this one is perfectly clear. The glycerin is like perfectly clear, just like a water, like a thicker water. And this one, with the nicotine in it, it's slightly starting to oxidize. Mind you, I've never even opened this bottle, so the fact that it's starting to turn like a very light yellow color is kind of odd to me. But then again, the Wizard Labs packaging that I got is opaque, where you can't see through it, so maybe that's why I never noticed a color change with that stuff. I'm not really sure. But I also got it in a PG base, which is, PG is a natural preservative, so maybe that's why it doesn't oxidize as much. I'm not really sure. But I've heard that vegetable glycerin does oxidize and age quicker than PG, so I don't know if that's what it is, but it is starting to oxidize a little bit. So I don't know if that bothers you. I personally don't care. I don't know why it would make too much of a difference. Not really sure. But as far as like the flavor and everything, and this one I've had longer, and it is very, very slightly yellow, but I don't think it's as yellow as the one in here, which is odd because I've been opening this and haven't opened, I don't know. It's just something to keep in mind. And the person that messaged me said that their stuff from Bull City Vapor didn't do that, which is odd because it's like you're going directly to the supplier and it's oxidizing, but through a distributor it's not. So I don't know, maybe it's the way they store it. I don't really know. I haven't noticed a difference. I mean, I haven't tried the one I showed you that was sealed and everything yet, so I can't really tell you. But the stuff from Bull City Vapor, as I said before, it's very clean. It does have a throat hit, but it's nothing super harsh. And my dad hasn't complained about it. And the price, I mean, it's good. If you go on, like, compare other websites for, like, the same amount as what you're getting in there, it's pretty on the lower end. If, like, I find that I don't like this for whatever reason, I might try RTS Vapes, which I've heard is also a good brand of nicotine, or New Nicotine, which I think New Nicotine is kind of like on the higher end as far as price, so that'll be like the last one I try. But if I don't have any problems with this stuff, I'm perfectly fine continuing to order from them, because they ship quickly, and I mean, the price is good and the product is good. So anyway, if you have any questions or whatever, put them below.